You're a housewife, Melanie. You expect me to believe you can't even make me a half-decent meal? I'm not gonna let you just laze around the house all day. I work myself to the bone from morning to night, and this is the thanks I get? Food that's barely even mediocre. Is this a joke?
I'm deeply, truly sorry that you had to deal with eating my terrible cooking all these years. Don't worry though, I'll see to it that you never have to eat any more of my meals ever again.
Trouble busters!
Oh, come on, fish again?
Oh, I'm sorry, George, but I thought you liked fish. You always told me that you liked my fish up until now.
Yeah, well, I'm not in the mood for it today.
I see. Well, I wish you'd have told me.
Seriously though, did you put any seasoning on this at all? And you call yourself a housewife? I don't believe you.
What?
You're such a slacker, Melanie.
George, please. Why are you getting so angry at me? This doesn't seem fair. George, is there something else on your mind?
Oh, nothing. Just the crippling depression of realizing how little you think of all the hard work I do.
Okay, that's going too far. My cooking isn't that bad. Stop exaggerating like that.
Are you joking? If I called your food pig slop, it would be an insult to pig slop. And don't you dare talk back to me.
George, please, you're scaring me.
You're a housewife, Melanie. You expect me to believe you can't even make me a half-decent meal? I'm not gonna let you just laze around the house all day.
My name's Melanie. This is my husband, George. We've only been married for a year, so we're sort of still newlyweds. Back before we got married, I used to work as a pharmacist. But George was insistent that a woman's place is in the home. So I decided to respect his wishes and do my best to support him as a housewife once we moved in together. George has always been something of a picky eater, but he was never the kind of person to get so angry at me day after day about my cooking before recently.
Oh, come on. What is this? It's nothing but vegetables.
But George, you haven't been eating any vegetables at all lately. I'm looking out for your health.
What are you, my mother? The only meat in this entire meal is the 5 chunks of ham you put in the salad.
I also put some in the vegetable soup.
Listen up, Melanie. I don't ever want to see a pile of vegetables on the table ever again. In fact, from now on, you're not allowed to buy any vegetables at all with my money. And if you want to eat vegetables, go and make a grass salad or something.
But grass isn't good for humans. Only animals like horses and rabbits eat it.
Not my problem. It's my money, so what I say goes.
Well then, if you don't want vegetables, would you at least tell me what you do want to eat?
Oh my God, Melanie! You're the housewife. It's your job to figure that out. I do more than enough work at the office every day. I'm not gonna do your job for you too.
But George, you've never eaten anything that I cook for you, no matter what it is. Don't you think it would be much simpler if you just told me what you wanted?
Ugh. I've had more than enough of your nonsense for one night. Don't tick me off any worse than you already have.
Okay, I'm sorry.
What's a guy gotta do to get a decent meal around here?
What's a girl gotta do to get appreciated around here?
Appreciated? For what? I'm out at the office working all day while you're just lazing around the house. Why don't you use some of all that free time to learn how to cook or something?
I am not just lazing around.
How would you feel if you were the one working all day, just to come home to be fed last night's trash by an ungrateful spouse? You have no idea how hard it is for me with a wife who doesn't even care enough about me to cook half decently.
When we first got married, you used to love my cooking. You said you wanted to eat it all your life.
Oh yeah? Seriously, what happened to you? You didn't used to be this bad of a cook.
Nothing's changed at all. If anything, I've gotten better.
Yeah, right. You can't fool me. I bet you were having all that food catered to trick me into marrying you. Maybe I ought to sue you for marriage fraud.
Oh, how long can I go on like this? George, I have a terrible headache. Could you please get me a glass of water?
Huh, nice try. But you're not fooling me, Melanie. You're just faking being sick to get sympathy from me. How low can you go?
George, please. I haven't felt this sick in years. Could you please be a bit kinder to me for today at least? I think I'll just go lie down for a while.
I knew it! You were just trying to get out of making my breakfast. Well, I'm not buying it, so hurry up and get in that kitchen.
There are some leftovers from last night in the fridge, and you can have some toast with jam or something. Could you please let me rest for just today?
What do you mean, just? You do nothing but rest. You're a lazy, good-for-nothing housewife. You've been taking advantage of my hard work and generosity for far too long, Melanie. And if you keep slacking off on the job, I must just have to go ahead and fire you. So shape up or ship out.
George, are you threatening to divorce me? Over cooking? How could you?
And just so you don't get any ideas, I'll be taking back the rest of the spending money I gave you last week. Make sure my dinner is edible tonight.
Alright, I got my cold medicine. And I also got George some of his favorite ginger pork from the supermarket downtown he always goes to for lunch. He's gonna like this for sure. But I gotta say, it really brought back some memories going to that pharmacy just now. The smells, the lights, the sounds, everything reminded me of back when I used to be the one working behind the counter. I always loved seeing how a patient would look a little bit better every time they came back. It really is a rewarding job. I wonder if I'll ever get a chance to make a comeback as a pharmacist one day. Oh, hi George. Welcome home.
What's up with that smile? It's creepy.
Don't worry, George. Nothing you say can bother me today. I'm in a super good mood right now. I got a will made of steel that nothing can pierce. I feel like Superwoman today.
Are you drunk or something? Whatever, just don't give me your cold, got it? Unlike you, I'm actually contributing to society. So if I have to take a day off, a lot of people are gonna be in big trouble.
Don't worry, that's what the mask is for. I have dinner ready for you right away, dear.
What the? Didn't I tell you never to buy vegetables with my money again?
Those were left over from the other day.
And is this all there is? No side dishes? Dessert? I told you, your little ploy for sympathy won't work on me. Sick or not, I'm not letting you slack off on the job. And besides, you said you were feeling better, didn't you? So you've got no excuse to not make me a decent meal.
I'm sorry, George. I went to the doctor's office today and I just got back a little while ago.
You had all day to go to the hospital. Why'd you wait until so late to go?
I was feeling so sick earlier that my chores took a lot longer than they usually do.
I don't want to hear any more excuses from you. What is this? Are you aiming to get a gold medal in the pathetic excuse Olympics?
I had no idea that it was even a real competition.
It's not a real competition, you moron. Plus, this ginger pork looks awful. What did you put in this?
Actually, George, this ginger pork is from...
Disgusting!
What? Hey, what are you doing? You can't waste food like that. Think of all the starving children there in this world.
That ginger pork was so bad. I'd bet all those children would sooner starve to death than take even one bite.
George, you're being ridiculous. Besides, that's not the issue right now. The issue is that you're wasting food in the first place. There are a million reasons why you shouldn't waste food.
If you ask me, I'd say that the real waste was when you took all the ingredients and mixed them together into the worst ginger pork I've ever tasted.
I've been trying to tell you, I didn't...
There you go again. You've got an excuse for everything, huh? Honestly, what was I thinking marrying such a terrible excuse for a cook as you?
Between George's verbal abuse and my cold, I started crying and I just couldn't stop. Well, at least now that I know that I'm not such a bad cook after all, I suppose that's a silver lining in all of this. Phew, I think crying for a while made me feel a bit better, but I don't know how much longer I'll be able to bear George treating me so terribly. I'm at my limit. I could understand if he was just complaining about my cooking, but this is just plain old verbal abuse. I guess I don't have a choice. I bet she won't be too happy about it, but I think I need to call George's mother to ask for advice. Oh, I hope she doesn't think too poorly of me. She'll probably say I'm not good enough for George. But I don't have any other options left. I've tried everything. This is my last resort, and I really hope it works. I'll show him he can't push me around. Trouble busters! Huh?
I'm in the mood for Chinese food tonight. Make me some stir-fried pork and sweet and sour chicken. And remember, no vegetables.
Would it kill him to type the word please every once in a while? Oh well, I'm actually in the mood for some Chinese too. Welcome home, George.
You've got some explaining to do.
I do?
Didn't you listen to what I was saying at all?
Well, I did read your text message. Why do you ask?
Oh, you did read it. Then why are there vegetables in this food?
Well, I was in the mood for Chinese too, so...
No one, I repeat, no one cares about what you want to eat, Melanie. Do you have any idea how much trouble I'd be in if I couldn't follow such a simple instruction from my boss?
Oh, I'm sure you'd be in a world of trouble, no doubt.
Ugh, why am I wasting my time talking about work with you? You're a housewife. You've never worked a day in your life.
Well, in any case, you don't need to worry about your dinner, George. There's a special portion especially for you, too.
There is.
Actually, I called your mother to ask her for some advice today, and she told me that from now on, she would take over making all of your meals for me.
You called my mom?
Yep, and luckily for you, I'm so sorry that you've had to bear with eating my awful cooking up until now. It must have been terrible. But now I made arrangements so that you'll never have to eat a single bite of my dreadful cooking ever again.
You're not making any sense. Why did you call my mom? And why did she agree to make my meals? What's going on?
What's there to complain about? You don't want to have to eat my cooking, do you?
Alright, fine. But if that's the case, then you're never allowed to use my money to buy food for yourself. Not even a single shred of lettuce.
I read you loud and clear, George. I will never again use a single cent of your money to make meals for myself. Cross my heart and hope to die.
Just so long as you're clear on that, I'll hold you to that promise. Not 1 cent to yourself. I don't care if you end up dying of starvation. Don't come crying to me because I won't give you anything. This is your last chance to change your mind.
Nope, my mind's made up. Actually, I've already taken the liberty of handing over all the money you gave me for food this month to your mom.
You did?
Yep, what's the matter? Isn't this what you wanted? Honestly, I wish I would have thought of this plan earlier. It would have saved both me and you a lot of trouble. You wouldn't have to put up with my awful cooking, and I wouldn't have to put up with your verbal abuse.
Wait, but you're a housewife. You don't have any money. What are you gonna do for food?
Oh, you don't need to worry about me. Don't you remember? I'm a certified pharmacist. All I need to do is go back to work and have more than enough money to live on.
Work? Are you insane? You can't even take care of the house as things are. If you go back to work, things are really gonna fall apart around here. I'm not letting you work until you learn to be a passable housewife first.
I'm sorry, but I don't believe I need your permission, George.
Excuse me! Don't you dare talk back to me like that! Besides, what company in their right mind would hire some useless flunky housewife like you?
The only reason I ever quit my old job in the first place was because you asked me to take care of things around the house. Do you think they fired me or something? What gave you that idea? It seems to me like the only thing you're really interested in is robbing me of every shred of freedom I have.
Oh, great. Guests. Perfect timing. Who could be coming over at this hour?
Oh, great, they're here. Come on in, the door's unlocked. Good evening. Thanks for letting us stop by. Oh my, this looks delicious. You've outdone yourself, Melanie. This looks as good as any restaurant I've ever been to. Oh, George, you're home already? I heard you wanted to have some Chinese food for dinner, so I made some for you. I have to say, though, you're one excellent housekeeper, Melanie. This house is immaculate. I don't think I can see a single speck of dust anywhere in this entire room. How do you do it? I never dreamed George would marry a woman as dependable as you. It makes me proud to be your mother-in-law. Right, Kenneth?
Madeline, don't you think you're laying on the compliments a bit too thick right now?
Oh, I'm sorry, Melanie. I went and got carried away, didn't I? Oh, no, it's okay. Don't worry about it. I was just kind of surprised is all. I had no idea you thought so highly of me. I'm glad I have your approval. Don't be ridiculous. How could I not think highly of such a dedicated wife as you? You must really care for my son. Isn't that right, George? Don't you have anything to say?
Yeah, I guess.
You guess? You guess? Is that all you have to say? Your father's always telling me how much he appreciates me, you know. It feels so wonderful to be with someone who always expresses their thanks. I love you, Kenneth.
I love you too, Madeline. But can we please eat already? I'm starving.
Wow, it's wonderful to see how well the two of you are getting along, even after all these years. All right, everyone, let's dig in. It's been so long since I've cooked for so many people. I think I might have cooked a bit too much, so I hope you're all hungry.
Is this my stir-fried pork? Where are the mushrooms?
What's that? I thought you had been telling Melanie here that you don't want any vegetables at all. Mushrooms are considered to be a type of vegetable. Didn't you know that?
Of course I knew that. You don't need to tell me.
Excuse me, George. Melanie just went out of her way to tell you something important. I think a simple thank you is in order. I raised you myself, so you've got no excuse to be forgetting such simple manners. I won't have any son of mine being an ingrate.
Oh.
Now, let's all dig in, everyone. Remember, there's plenty more, so don't hesitate to ask for seconds.
Or thirds.
Oh my goodness, Melanie, this is incredible. You always were a terrific cook, but this is even better than I remembered. Have you been taking cooking classes?
These veggies are cooked to perfection, dear. And the seasoning is so well balanced.
If I didn't know any better, I'd say you went and ordered this from a real live Chinese restaurant. And to think George doesn't appreciate your cooking. What on earth is wrong with that boy's taste buds? The other day, he even said that the ginger pork from the supermarket downtown was bad and threw it all away. I'm frankly concerned that something might be wrong with his sense of taste. Do you think he should see a doctor?
Hey!
I suppose it must be that I'm nowhere near as good of a cook as you are, Mom. I bet he's so used to your cooking that mine doesn't seem to be good to him anymore.
Hey, hold on. I didn't. Wait, so that ginger pork was from the store. I thought you made that.
If you say it like that, it almost seems like the only reason you said it was bad was because you thought I was the one who cooked it, George.
Oh, no, that's not it. That's not it at all.
That is strange, George. You've been eating the ginger pork that store makes ever since you were a little boy. You've always loved it. You know what? I think Melanie may be right, dear. I think something must be wrong with your sense of taste. Shall I take you to the doctor tomorrow?
I'd say she's right, George. If there's something wrong with you, it's best to nip it in the bud before it becomes a bigger problem. No, it's fine, Dad. There's nothing wrong with me, seriously. It's just that Melanie gave me her code. Yeah, My nose was so stuffed up from the cold Melanie gave me that I couldn't taste the food.
Is that so?
Yeah, that's gotta be it. So, anyway, let's eat.
Are you all right, George? That's strange. You don't like Melanie's cooking, the restaurant's cooking, or even my cooking? That settles it. There must be something wrong with you.
No, it's fine. I'm just not very hungry right now is all. I'll eat it later, okay? But, hey, how come you're the one that cooked this instead of Dad?
Isn't it obvious? I got my recipe for stir-fried pork from your dad. If you didn't like my cooking, then you probably wouldn't like it if your dad cooked it either.
Oh. Ah, yes, that's right. We brought some watermelon with us, too.
Watermelon? That's great! You love watermelon, don't you, George? Thanks, Mom and Dad. I'll head into the kitchen and cut it up for us. I'll be right back.
No, it's all right. I'll cut it, dear. You've been on your feet all day getting this dinner ready for us. You deserve a break.
I deserve a break? I think that's the first time anyone's told me that in about a year. I'm so touched, I think I'm gonna cry.
Oh, Melanie, you're always such a jokester. Now sit on down. I'll be back in a jiffy. All right, everyone, help yourselves.
Wow, Dad, that was fast. It's like a professional watermelon cutter. Thanks so much. Wow, this watermelon is delicious. Where did you get it from? I don't think I've ever eaten watermelon this good before. It's so juicy and sweet.
Is it really that good? Here, let me have a bite. Not so fast, George. Watermelon is a vegetable.
Oh, I couldn't eat another bite. Well, I suppose we should be moving along now, darling.
Yep, it's about that time.
We'll see you again tomorrow evening. If you don't have any requests for me, try to let me know before noon, all right, George? You have to leave me enough time to go out and buy ingredients and cook it too.
Sure, Mom. How could you do this to me, Melanie? You know my mom's a lousy cook. Why did you ask her to make my dinner? Is this some kind of a prank?
A prank? I never dream of pulling a prank against you, George.
Then start talking. What are you trying to say?
If you think my cooking is bad, then that means you also think your dad's cooking is bad, since I use his recipes. You even say the food I buy from the store is bad, but since I'm not working, I wouldn't have enough money to keep on going out for food every night anyway. So, the only choice I had left was to ask your mom for help. That's all. No prank, no plot. You just had no other options.
Fine, whatever. Just call her back and tell her not to cook for me again tomorrow. If she cooks for me again, then I'm not coming home, and I'm not giving you a single cent of my money for anything, all right? Do I make myself clear?
Crystal clear, George. Now sign this, please.
Huh? Wait a minute. What is this?
Can't you read? It says at the top of the page, these are divorce papers.
Yeah, I can read. I'm not a total idiot. I'm asking you, what in the world do you think you're doing giving me these?
To be perfectly honest, I simply can't take any more of your constant verbal and emotional abuse, George. You yell at me every day that my cooking is bad. You even reject the food from the store that I know you like, and your dad's recipe too. It's too much to handle. I've tried everything, George, and nothing is good enough for you.
That's not emotional abuse. And besides, how are you gonna get by without me? Sure, you have your stupid nursing license or whatever, but I make $50K a year. How are you gonna make that kind of money, huh? Unless you've got a rich boyfriend or something. Wait, is that it? Have you been cheating on me?
That does it. I've had it with you, George. Cheating? Are you seriously accusing me of cheating? You've been nothing but cruel to me for most of our marriage, and you want to make me the bad guy? And thanks for your concern, but I won't need $50K a year to make a decent living for myself and my own, so don't worry about me. If I had to choose between having more money and having a peaceful and happy life, I'd choose the latter any day of the week. And my life has been anything but peaceful and happy for as long as I've been married to you. Not to mention, I was making more than $50K a year back before we got married. So hurry up and sign your name on the dotted line. Let's get this over with.
All right, let's calm down, okay? How about this? I'll let you keep on being my housewife, so please just call my mom and tell her she doesn't need to cook for me anymore, okay? What's so funny?
You'll let me be your housewife? You really still don't get it, do you? I'm never setting foot in this house again. I've already packed my things and I'm moving into my new apartment tomorrow morning.
You can't do this to me!
Well, look what you've done now.
Don't look at me. This is all your fault.
And that was how our relatively short but eventful marriage finally came to an end. The next day, I went to see my doctor and got a physician's report for my injury, then left from there and went straight to my lawyer. We launched a lawsuit against her for both emotional and physical abuse, with a demand for compensation of $25,000. Then, a few days later, hello?
Melanie, What in the world is going on? Why are you suing me for $25,000?
Do you think to read the documents before calling me? It should be explained in there.
You are so selfish, Melanie. First, you make me put up with your atrocious cooking all this time, and now you want money from me on top of that. I should sue you for your abusive cooking.
My goodness, Melanie, how do you do it? You only been living here for a few days and it already feels like home sweet home. Oh, you always been so sweet to me. Thank you so much. It looks like that scar on your forehead is healing nicely too. Thank goodness for that. I know an apology from me isn't going to change anything, but I want you to know how truly sorry I am. No, please, Mom. You don't need to apologize for anything to me. None of this was your fault. I understand that after he called you. George really did go to a lawyer to ask if there was any way he could sue you. I don't believe it. He was serious about that? Yes, well, apparently it took quite a deal of effort to talk George out of suing you. That boy is nothing but trouble. Yeah, I doubt any self-respecting lawyer would want to have that kind of lawsuit on their record. I can see why he turned that case down. George's father was utterly furious at him, too. He told him that as punishment, he would have to eat my cooking for all his meals for the next year. He did? Well, that's inventive. I'm surprised George can keep it down. To be quite honest, I can't even stand my own cooking. Even after all these years, I still can't manage to make a decent meal. I wonder why that is. George's mother always was incredibly kind to me, so even though George and I are divorced, we still meet up for tea every once in a while. Like she just said, even she's aware of how horrible her cooking tastes. So for as long as they've been married, her husband has been doing the brunt of the cooking. This may seem odd coming from me, but in all honesty, I'd consider having to eat my cooking every day as nothing short of torture. I'll bet George is suffering more from that than the damages from your lawsuit.
Oh, please, somebody, help me. My stomach.
But he has only himself to blame for that. Thanks to an introduction from an old pharmacist friend, I landed a job at another pharmacy really quickly. The owner was so impressed by my resume, he thinks that if everything goes smoothly, by this time next year, I'll be the head pharmacist. It feels great to be back in the swing of things. I missed everything about this job so much for the last year. Now that I'm free from George's clutches, I'm gonna focus on living my own life to the fullest. Trouble Busters!